Hello, it's David Snowpeck from Snowpeck Games, and this is a quick devlog about Portal Bug, the game that I'm making with a team for the Godot Wild Jam number 23. So I'm calling this a devlog, but really I'm making this video for my teammates to show them how to make levels for the game. I think it would also be useful in general to the world for examples of how to make levels for games in Godot, so that's why I'm also making it a public devlog. I'll try and record a real devlog generally about the game later. But for now, we're going to talk about level creation. Once you open up the project, which also the source code's available publicly on GitLab, I'll put a link to that. But once you open the project up, you're going to be hit with this sort of start game screen, which isn't very useful. I had to make it the main scene to deal with this input thing for HTML5. Let's not worry about that now. All of the levels are stored in a folder called maps, which you'll find over here. I just threw together a quick template level, which is really just a copy of level 1 for now, but I'm going to eventually make level 1 into a real level, so I made a new template. So to make your own level, best would be to start by duplicating this one. So you can right-click on it and go duplicate, and I can make it my level 1, and then double-click that to open your level, which of course looks just like the template so far. I always like to name the top level node the same as the scene name, which you really don't have to do. That's totally optional, but you can double-click the top node and make it be named the name of the scene. And then we'll save it. Before we dig into editing it, I just want to quick show you how to run your level, because that is the most important thing when creating levels, is testing. So if we find in the main project, at the top level, there's a scene called main, which I wish this is what was the real main scene when you open the project, except for that input bug that that input situation that I'm working around for HTML5. But if you double click on it, open the main scene, there's a property over here on the right that says main map scene, and this is the map that the game will load when it first starts. So you can temporarily change that to your map by clicking your map over on the left, dragging it all the way over and dropping it in this property here. And now when you click play on the game, it will open your map instead of the normal title screen map. So that's how you test it, and just be sure to switch that back before sending any changes or committing anything in Git. Switch that back to the normal one is title map. That's the map that shows like the little tutorial and the credits and stuff. So anyway, switching back to, let me just close some of these things up. I'll just leave my level and main open. So in my level 1. You'll see the pieces that compose this level are the nodes over here. The tile map is one of the main things that you'll have to work with. That's what puts all the grass tiles back here. You can see there's the one spot in the sort of tile palette for grass, and then there's these just like colored ones. Those are like prototype tiles. I've talked about this in other videos, but when I'm doing level design, I like to have these prototype tiles that I can kind of drop in to stand in for stuff. Like if I'm planning to put an enemy here, I can just drop a quick tile there to remind myself to come back and put the enemies there, so I can quickly design on just the tile map rather than having to jump between the tile map and other pieces while I'm designing. Also, all of these prototype tiles have collision. So like over here, there's this big black wall that's like an invisible wall. The camera won't ever go over there, but that's what prevents the character from walking off the left side of the screen. So I just threw a bunch of the black prototype tiles because they all have collision on them. So the basic things with the tile map is to edit the tile map, you got to click the tile map in the left-hand side here, and then here's your palette like we already talked about, and then these sort of 4 icons in the toolbar up here are the like tools, the tool picker kind of thing for the tile map. So when it's on the pencil, you know, you're placing tiles. The bucket is to fill, the eyedropper, which we really don't need because we have so few tiles, but that's, you know, basically like an eyedropper in a paint program, but you're picking a tile rather than a color. And then this selecting thing, which is really important because it is how you delete. So you can select a bunch of stuff and then hit delete to remove them. The grass tiles have the auto tile in Godot set up, so you can sort of just like freely drag them and it will attempt to pick the right tile. We don't have enough tiles for like a full auto tile set. So there's like some shapes you can draw that it doesn't know what to deal with, like this. We don't have a tile set up to make that join when there's only a single one there. So you have to like fill in a bunch more tiles, and then it'll guess a good thing once it has enough tiles to fit what we have. So yeah, that's basically tile maps. Another important thing to know is that the way the game is set up, the player can't, or the camera can't, move beyond the x-axis in the negative direction or the y-axis in the positive direction. The camera is restricted in this area, and if the character ever falls into the positive y area, they die. So you have to design your levels around that kind of limitation. If you wanted to have a level where the character moved down, you'd actually have to move their starting spot, which is done with this player start position node, which you can just drag to wherever you want the player to start. You'd have to do it by moving the start position higher up in the stage, and then move downwards this way, since you can't go below that line. The win zone, I think when you're making levels for testing, it's probably best to have a win zone in them, to have an easy way for the level to end and start over. It's also possible to put portals in. To add any of the like other objects in the game, like portals or collectibles or the enemies, you would click the node in the node tree where you want the new thing to be a child, and then click this little sort of chain link thing there. And then you can add in any other scene as kind of like a sub-scene. So if we want to add in a portal, for example, we'd grab a portal. Now it's in our scene tree, and we can place it wherever we want to place it. Oh, another important thing about placing objects is make sure to have the grid snap turned on. That's what this thing is right here. And make sure to have the grid snap set to 32 by 32. All of the objects are designed to be placed into our 64 by 64 grid from this sort of bottom point on a 32 by 32 snap. So then everything will fit together nicely. But yeah, if you want to have a portal to another level, you just create a portal, and then it has this new scene thing up here, and you can drag you know, what you want the new scene to be into there. And just to show that it works, we can I'm not gonna make it. Here we go. And then I set it arbitrarily to the title scene as the next scene. But otherwise, yeah, placing enemies is the same kind of thing. For like your own sanity, I recommend using like node 2Ds to be containers of different types of things. Like here in this template, all of the collectibles are in this node 2D called collectible, which will just make it easier to manage. If you want to hide all the collectibles, you can click that and all the collectibles go away, the little eyeball. It also makes it just easier to duplicate and find things. The most useful thing when dealing with objects is probably duplicate. So I have a collectible on here already, and I can just hit Control D. It'll make a new collectible, and then I can, you know, drag another one out. So if you're just trying to make like a whole bunch of collectibles in a row, you can just Control D and then drag them over with the move tool up here, so you don't actually even have to click on them. You can click anywhere and drag them. But that makes it really fast to place lots of the same thing. And if you're placing lots of the same thing, it's just easier for me to manage if they're under this parent node. And to add a new parent node like that, you would click the node that you want it to be a child of, click plus, and then make sure it is a node 2D. And then you can name it whatever you want. Like if you wanted to put all of your enemies in a single node 2D there, you could make a node 2D called enemies, click the little instance child scene thing, and then we've got all of our enemies are under actors. We have the plant, that guy over there, we'll put him near the player so we can see him kind of close, and the spider guy. And we can add him in over here. And the spiders are designed to walk back and forth on whatever platform you place them on. None of the combat or damage stuff is really figured out yet, but that will at least get them placed into the scene. What else? Is there anything else I want to say really quick before I cut this off? I think that might be it. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions. For people other than my teammates, all of the source code for this game is going to be publicly posted on GitLab. I'll put the link in the description. Yeah, talk to you later. Bye-bye.